All right, on today's episode of Horribly Edited Videos, we are going to be working with Cogs the scrub python. Husband is here to help film because Cogs is a wee bit of a spicy boy sometimes. So I wanted to share how I work with him because every other how I work with my snakes video has been with our very calm, friendly retics and boas. So let's give this a try, see how it goes. All right, I haven't handled Cogs in a couple of weeks because he was in shed and then I fed him, so he was digesting. So we are going to see how this goes. I always put hand sanitizer on to kind of neutralize any smell of like the dogs or the cat because he's very reactive to mammals. Hi buddy. Let's see how he goes. He's hanging out on his cork bark. Hi bud. He still has a little bit of a full belly, so he might must go potty. So can I snag your shed? Now I do use a hook with him, not for a ton of time, but just as a kind of maneuvering him. He's not a huge fan of it, but he is getting better. Hi buddy, you can come out. Can I scoop you? So usually my goal with him, he's very huffy. Hi, are you gonna huff at the hook? You can hear that through the phone. But he's like, hey, I was cozy. I know, I need to get you out and check on you anyway, because you haven't been out in a couple weeks. Oh my goodness. Come here, cranky boy. Come here. And I just try and maneuver the hook like underneath his body. And my goal is to get, come here, bud. Get his face out. Come here. I know. Okay, bud. Come on. The lower down his body I tend to get, the more huffy he tends to get. My bud. It's okay. Do you remember? You actually kind of like, don't bite my hand. Oh, I know. So with him, he is very spicy. He's actually doing pretty okay. So I try and just redirect him. He didn't pee though, so that's good. Can I have the hook, buddy? And then I just try and maneuver the hook out. Like honestly, this would probably be easier without a hook. Now, is the hook yours now? Come on, bud. Can I have it? Don't bite. You want to try and go back in there? He's like wrapped around the hook right now. Come here. There we go. Come here. Come here. So he really likes to go back in when I first get him out. And I just try and work his face away from me until he calms down. I know there's a lot going on right now, bud. Good boy. There you go. Good job, bud. What? There he goes. You better now? There we go. Good job, bud. So you can kind of see him drop into moving slower. Almost. Well, that's him. That's generally how I get him out, and then I'll keep him out for a good long while to help him calm down, because that tends to work with him. But the other thing that I do with him, because he's so sensitive, is I always go from underneath as much as possible. Good job, buddy. And that's Cogs, so we're gonna hang out for a while. Oh, hi, Spots. But you can see he's kind of chilled. The other thing that I do prefer working with my hands with him is you can feel his muscle tone. Kind of similar to what I was talking about with the boas. And ticks, and he's just a little bit easier to read and maneuver with hands versus the hook. I use the hook to first get him out. Is that yours? Can I have that back? Because he is so cage defensive. Yeah, you like your enclosure. It's all cozy. Once he's out, he's fine. Now, I am admittedly not the best at getting scrubs out of their houses, but he's pretty good once I have him out. He will explore for a while. I'm actually gonna keep him out. Usually with him, I'll keep him out for, you know, hours at a time, because once he's out, he seems to really kind of enjoy and relax and get all explory. So, hi buddy. So I'm just gonna let him relax and explore, maybe take him outside and yeah, hang out with him for a little bit. Because he is arboreal, he does prefer, sorry, around we go, to be up high. Buddy, where's your... The other thing about scrubs is they don't weigh anything. So like, I can kind of feel it. He's coming around. There he is, his face. But it can be really hard to tell like where they're at because they don't weigh anything. They're such skinny kiddos. So the other thing to keep in mind with these guys, the scrubbies, and probably pretty much all arboreal species, he is the most arboreal species that we have in our care. But he will, like if he gets like uncertain for a hot second, he'll squeeze and then immediately like relax again. So there's kind of a nuanced difference between squeezing super tight, getting ready to strike because he's feeling intimidated by something, and just kind of getting thrown off for a hot second. So he's been a learning curve for me as far as reading body language, but he's been, you know, pretty darn awesome. In case you wanted a comparison of retic face and scrub python face, they do look markedly different. Not only their coloring, but the scaling and the shape of the head. It's pretty cool. The other thing to keep in mind with these guys is they are incredibly visually attuned to their surroundings. So I feel like their eyesight is a little bit better than some of the animals in our care, like the retics or the boas. So he really is visually attuned to his surroundings and what's going on. So knowing that, I'm very mindful about how I approach him, especially his face, because that can make a world of difference for him in regards to, does he feel safe or does he feel threatened? All right, so we are outside because I wanted to show you what he's like in the sunshine, aside from just absolutely gorgeous, because look at those rainbows, so pretty. But he does tend to get a little bit more clingy while we're outside. Like he's headed around my shoulders right now. Just giving you a glimpse of how iridescent his scales are. Ooh, it's bright. So he's currently trying to work his way up my shoulders, which is fine. I do try and keep one hand on his body because he does tend to, buddy, can you come here? He does tend to get a little bit more, like if I lose contact with him, when I go to like contact him again, he gets a little put off by it. He usually doesn't strike, but he does like startle. So just to kind of keep the experience as consistent as possible, I always try and keep one hand on him the entire time I have him out. I keep on getting distracted by these. Look at him. Look at this. Like, gorgeous, gorgeous. Like, that is unbeatable. That's like Bolin's level rainbows right there. So I do keep my phone on me just for the very sake of figuring out where his face is. Because again, he doesn't weigh anything. So right now he's, right now it just looks like he's checking out my butt, which he's not, but that's just kind of funny. He's just chilling. Now, it is pretty warm outside. There's lots of birds chirping. There's a lot going on out here. So I'm going to take him back inside and see how he adjusts. Where'd you go? You still checking out my butt? No, he's climbing back up. Okay. So something to keep in mind with scrubs, or at least this is what I've told and this is what I've experienced with Cogs, is if he does get up high, he does like to periscope, like get on top of my head and like periscope up if he can. If he does get up high, he can get a little bit more like on guard of anything going on around him. So that's just something to be mindful of, and how you approach them when they're in that position can make a big difference as far as how that interaction goes. So right now he's sniffing. I had a bunch of other snakes out earlier today, so I think he's just sniffing those different animals. We'll see how he reacts. But yeah, Rob is Creeping It Real on Instagram is one of my go-to, like, how to work with scrubs mindfully. And I also got a lot of tips and tricks from his breeder as well. So right now, I mean, honestly, the most, I don't even know if challenging is the word. The most likely point of interaction with him that I'm probably gonna get bit is getting him out of his enclosure. But again, like, I haven't been as consistent with him as I should be in getting him out. But once he's out, he's generally pretty okay. And again, that visual acuity is so impressive, because as soon as I turned that film off, he started moving around again, like as soon as I turned my camera off. So I think it's just the infrared lights on my cameras on my phone. He can see them, I cannot, but he can. So keeping in mind, your animal is going to experience the world much different than you experience the world. So they may become defensive or reactive to something that doesn't really make sense to us as people, but it absolutely makes sense once you understand how they're experiencing their world. So as inconsistent as I am with working with him, he has found, like, I've found that he really prefers perching up on my shoulder. He really prefers it when my hair is down, because then I feel like I think he feels more secure, because it literally, he's small enough still, he can disappear in the curls. Sorry, my hair is a wee bit of a hot mess right now. But yeah, he just likes tucking underneath. Where did you go, buddy? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? He's just curling up. Oh, he's coming around the other side. No? He's trying to find his way up on top of my head. So when he's on top of my head like this, I am mindful about where I'm placing my hand, like my other hand that has the phone, because if I go from above him, more than likely he is going to get defensive and strike, because he's not short. Like, he's still prey item size for a lot of birds and other animals where, like, he's native to. So, are you gonna climb on the phone? He's trying to sniff it. You gonna climb on the phone? So see how I'm going from underneath him right now? That is really, really important. I couldn't film and do it at the same time because I needed my other hand. But that's how I'll just kind of gently remove him if he's getting a little bit on edge and he's like on top of something, like on my shoulder or on top of my head. I just mindfully maneuver him and get him focused on something else, and he just drops back into curiosity mode. So he's definitely the snake that I need to be the most on with, like most mindful of, most aware of, just because he's still you know, baby scrub mode, but he's getting better. You want to stiff the phone? He's like, no. You want to play your favorite game? Yes. His favorite game currently is to start on one side of me and then crawl around to the other side and then crawl up the other side and switch. He'll just do that for hours. It's really cute. The other thing that's really quirky about him is he's very, very sensitive. So right now I'm not wearing sleeves and I have arm hair, and he does not like arm hair. Like if it tickles him in a certain way, it just throws him off. And it's really funny. So I kind of have to redirect his attention if he's like, ew, arm hair. He's not pro body hair apparently. Buddy, let people make their choice. He's getting better about it though. Yeah, huh, buddy. So that's scrub pythons. He's our only one. I by no means have any kind of experience with scrubs. I do not consider myself an experienced scrub caretaker. I know I always wanted one because their intelligence level is amazing and impressive, and they're super wonderful to interact with. They are not for everyone. Now, granted, he's a little on the higher, like he's got a bit of a character going on as far as how, like, his personality. There are chiller scrubs, like personality wise, out there, and he's getting better again with some size and some age. I think he's gonna chill out and just be a wonderful boy once he relaxes. When I do have him out, he's a goofball. He's a really awesome animal to work with. But yeah, definitely do your research before you dive into getting one of these guys, because they can be intimidating. They get very long. Their strike range is incredibly impressive. So yeah, just be mindful and know what you're getting yourself into if you want to go that route. And that is about it for today's episode of Horribly Edited Videos, the How I Work with My Snakes Various Species series. I think that's all of them. I think Cogs was the last one in that accidental series that I started. So yeah, hopefully you learned something. Feel free to laugh at me in the comments, because like I said, I am not a seasoned scrub caretaker by any means, but he's one of my favorite animals to work with because he is a little bit more of a challenge. And again, I do have to be incredibly mindful when I work with him, which is good for my mental health, honestly. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. It really helps us out a ton, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.